going to be putting loads of stress on the engine. The generic idea is checking for cracks and anything that could be broken, unless you're cutting without this on, which would just be ridiculous anyway, because you'll regret it. Now, so what I'm going to run over is, well, I was going to do the comparison between the crappy saw that I've got, which is £60, nothing crazy, and the Stihl MS261, but I've already got a video on it, and to be honest with you, it's pretty obvious. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run over the basics of the simple things you need to do to keep your saw in check. How often should you be changing the filter? Why you should be changing the filter this amount of time? How long you should be able to leave fuel in the tank, and all those sort of things. I mean on the lines of if you've got a Stihl or a Husqvarna Echo, not crappy saws. By that I mean your £60 saw from Amazon, or your, some of the electric saws and stuff. It's very, very different. Obviously, if you have got one of those saws, these things will still be useful for it, but this is how to maintain a more professional saw. So yeah, let's get straight into it. You've got a few levels of things that you need to be doing and how often. So obviously you've got your first level of things that needs to happen after almost every use, which is sharpening the chain. You want to keep that sharp, otherwise you're going to be putting loads of stress on the engine. Bar maintenance doesn't have to be every time, but it's good to always check it and clean it out. Then you've got, every time you're doing something like bar maintenance, chain maintenance, sharpening, all that sort of stuff, you're probably going to be taking this off. So then you're going to want to go down to simple things of just cleaning out on the inside of here. Now, what's going to eventually happen is it's just going to build up again and build up again and build up again. You're going to be cleaning it forever. But that's just how it's going to be. And the longer you let it build up, the worse it's going to get, and the more damage you're going to do to the saw, just by letting stuff sit there and rot. And it's the same with everything really. You're going to want to be checking things like your pull cord. Obviously this doesn't have to be done very often, and you can just check it by pulling it out. And you just want to be checking for if it's about to snap, because you don't want to be on the job, snaps and you're screwed, all that sort of stuff. The generic idea is checking for cracks and anything that could be broken. And then, that's annoying. I don't have the thing on me. Anyway, the other thing you want to do, which I'll quickly show you, is checking the inside underneath here for the fans and stuff to make sure that they're not cracked. So I'll be back in one sec. Okay, so what I was running through was this. So it's super unlikely to happen, to be honest, unless you're cutting without this on, which would just be ridiculous anyway, is these. Because obviously the way it works is when air's coming in, it's blowing through these gaps all around here to help it cool down, right? So if you've got cracks and damages in this, that's going to be less efficient, and obviously don't really want cracks or damages anywhere. So as you can see, it's been recently serviced. Hasn't been recently cleaned because I never got to it. But when you're running through these things, there's obviously your servicing side of things. So then you can check your fuel filter. Check your fuel filter. It's not a fuel filter. Check your spark plug. Obviously making sure you don't get anything in that hole, because you'll regret it. Now, because this is a new spark plug, I don't know how well you can see, but it isn't completely covered, but it is the right sort of colour. We got like a, damn it, got a chocolatey brown going on. And one of the other things you can tell is when you've got gunk in like the carburetor, tends to be more bit of gunk inside the engine and things like that. You can sometimes find little bits of things in this gap here or around the spark plug where stuff's been, it's getting pulled through. So it's a good idea to keep an eye on that, because if you have got stuff like that, you're going to definitely need to be taking some more stuff apart, checking how good that spark is, and cleaning out your carburetor and all that crap. Then you've obviously got your fuel filter. I don't know why I keep saying fuel filter, to be honest, but your air filter. Obviously this is much better with a lot more powerful blower, but you want to make sure that this is nice and clean, which it is. And then you got your, so obviously the air is coming through here, into the back of the carburetor, and then everything's running. But this can also get blocked up, and if you've got a dirty fuel filter, it's one of those things that all this stuff gets in there and you can't really see it. So it's always good to be replacing these. So what I usually do is once to twice a year, depending on use. So I use this more or less every single job, which is why it's a state, and it's going to cause me to need to be replacing these once to twice a year, depending on how they look. Right? If I've been doing a lot of sappy, crappy stuff, then I'm going to want to be replacing these quite often. That's about it for there. You've done, once you've checked this and your basic things like your air filter, your spark plug. Spark plug isn't completely as necessary as like your air filter. You want to be checking that every time you do anything to your saw. It's always worth it, tapping it out, getting all that crap out, otherwise it will build up. Your other things you want to check is then, so you've done the top side, you've done your chains, you've done your bar, is this area. Now, if you was really to go very basic and the simple things, you just quick run over, you've got a busy day, la la la. All you really want to check is this is working, which you'll probably be checking on the job anyway. That you've got a clean area for your oil to come out of, and the basic look of it after you've wiped it out, cleaned it, I've just given it a small wipe. You obviously, again, it's just looking for cracks, looking for anything like that. You want this to make that solid sound. Usually means there's no cracks on it. It's hard to tell without this coming out fully. But as well, the rotation of it, it doesn't feel off, as if you haven't missed the oil pin that spins around. And that's pretty much it. If you're getting your little bit more into the service side of things, then you would want to check on the inside. Basically, bollocks. Thank God for that. Again, like that's, it's getting quite dirty in there. You don't want any of this stuff to get blocked or shoved in there. So keep an eye out for that. And then you're looking at this system. What you're looking for is anything out of place, broken springs, seized up springs. Any of these are bent. And again, cleaning around here, Now, again, in here, don't want loads of oil. You might have an oil leak. Your lines could be split, and then you could be pulling through air. Obviously, to check that properly, we'll take all this off, and we're not going to be doing that.